There's nothing wrong with that. I think the idea that we're all supposed to be independent, not need help, I think is dehumany, it's like
humanising.
Did you just make up a word?
It's
But it's also a myth that people. If you look at people who are doing well, and they might think they've done it all on their own.
No, exactly.
But you look at the situation they were born into. You look at the education they had.
Certainly.
You look at the financial support they might have had from parents, or the confidence they've got through growing up in a family where they believe they could take over the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's structural
support
factors in those success stories as much as there's structural factors in the people that are struggling.
So true.
That's right.
And there's also a way where, as a community and the values that we have, we keep people out. So, for example, for me, is people coming out of prison. To get a job, if you've come out of prison, no matter why you've been in there, is inherently so difficult.
Yep.
You can't get a reference to get housing if you can afford it. So you're actually keeping people out of jobs and out of home.
Yep.
And as a community, we're causing a problem for our own back. So there's lots of different layers of how we keep people dependent. And people go, well, stuff it. I've got an addiction. Let me see if I can get on a pension. So if you feel that you have no hope, and no one will accept you. So it's all those, where do we all have this responsibility to actually help people? So if you go it down to the individual, it can be sort of, they haven't done enough. But if you go beyond that, why haven't they done what they've needed to do? What actually that stopped them to do that?
And again, I think everyone would rather be as independent as possible.
Yeah, for sure.
No one, I don't think it's... even if you are dependent on welfare or dependent on other people for your survival or well-being, I don't think that's a very pleasant situation for people. In a way, it's quite degrading.
Even if you are for a second, even if you are, you would only have a period of months or something like that where you go, I just want to, I've given up, I'm fed up, and I'm just going to sit back and do nothing. Because that's the general concept. People people just want to sit around and do nothing.
Exactly.
It's like a human being inherently is not lazy. They actually want to do things, but unfortunately the system doesn't allow for everyone to be able to be as influential as someone else. That whole lazy argument.
That was kind of the answer I wanted from you. Like, what is the human nature that you've noticed in that regard? And you obviously just said it then, that, it's not in our human nature to want to be dependent on things,
Most of the people who come in here for help, you would pass them in the street, you wouldn't look twice, you wouldn't notice. They're just the same as anyone else. They're just having a crisis of some kind. Yeah. And there are some people, of course, like Mirella's talking about, who are much more entrenched and much more stuck in deep poverty and deep health issues and deep disconnectedness from the rest.
Daily life is just a struggle.
And they're the ones that need a lot more help.
Well, they do. And I think the things that I admire in people that I meet is their enormous resilience.
Yeah.
And people who kind of keep going.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's breathtaking, the resilience that people have, and I think that's what we need to see in people, rather than say, well, they're not doing too well. Well, had you been in their shoes?
Yeah.
Exactly. Would you have done just as good?
Would you have done just as good? So to really value people as individual human beings. And what you were saying, Daniel, sometimes it just depends what family you're born in. Unfortunately.
And that's a really good point. It takes a lot of strength and a lot of resilience and a lot of guts to survive when you don't have all the support systems we have. And it's actually, instead of looking down on people, actually, there's a lot of people should have some respect.
That's why
it's not an easy life.
We're so interested in people who are homelessness, and this is sort of just the start of what we want to do with the Connect podcast and homelessness. We actually want to go and speak to some homeless people and that, because the general idea is whoever has been in a lot of negative situations and been able to pull themselves out in some manner at the end are usually the most interesting people that you're ever going to meet, because they've been through more than anyone else. Someone who's had a life of luxury and that, only can tell you so much.
Extreme situations bring out the person deep down. You want to see their strengths and their weaknesses or whatever it is that they've got.
But I think that's a good time to wrap it up. We can.
Tell us how you can help, how the public can help, and
certainly.
Well, firstly, if there's anyone listening who is at risk of losing their home or is homeless at the moment. In Victoria, so this is in Victoria, Australia, the number you can call is 1-800-825-955.
Excellent.
1-800-825-955.
Help him out there, Sean.
There's only 2 5s there at the end. And they can also visit www.homeground.org.au, where you can find out more information about the services we provide. And you can also get in touch if you want to donate, or you want to support us, or subscribe to our newsletter, or find out more about what we do. Because I think that message that everyone can help in some way is a really important one. Because that's the only way that structural inequality, I got it in there, is going to be changed.
Did you is there any volunteer service for? Okay, great. All right, cool. Right. Oh, thanks for coming.
We can finish.
Anyway, thanks for coming. It's been great. Thank you very much for showing us your time.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay. And hope everyone's learned a little bit more about the other side of life, which they may not have experienced themselves.
Absolutely.
Great.
Great.